Tuesday, everybody. I hope everyone is having a great day today. We are going to continue the conversation that we started yesterday, all about automations. I'm going to refresh your memory on the different types of automations that you should and could be doing inside of your travel business. And we're going to actually go over some of the automations that are available to you and some considerations that you may want to take when it comes to operating your travel business. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. But before I start, let me just do a quick invitation. If you are not already a part of our Travel Boss group so that you can catch the replays and any references that we use, I usually provide checklists or guides as a reference for our calls. You can join us inside of Travel Boss community. And the way to do that is to go to, let me include that in the comments. If you go to http or onlinetravelboss.com/member, that will take you straight to our portal where we post our replays, and you can also get access to any of the downloads that I create for these trainings. All right, so with that, I'm actually going to present my screen, and I'm going to remind you of what we did yesterday. So let me share that really quick. All right, so yesterday I went over a common list of tasks that you can automate in your travel business based on the repetitiveness of those tasks. And so what I want to do is actually, yesterday, so if you missed yesterday, you can check out my YouTube channel and take a look at. I taught you how to create a task automation. So first, always when designing your workflows or getting ready to implement a workflow, you want to sit down with a piece of paper and map out what you want to do. What are the goals of what your workflow are, and map it out on paper. And so we did a simple test yesterday, and we walked through how to create a task automation. So let's say you wanted a reminder to go out to yourself or to your staff members to let them know that maybe a new travel request has been approved. And so we set that up. So check out that video. That's going to be up on the right if you're watching in YouTube. I believe it's on the right-hand side where the video will be. But today what I want to do is actually focus on client follow-ups, because the money is in the follow-up. And so making sure that you have a really strong follow-up game when it comes to email communication and even text message communication. Even though the FCC's made it a little bit difficult for you, you can't just start mass texting like you used to. You do have to go through some sort of application process. We do help you do that inside of TravelPro Suite. However, client follow-up is the key to ensuring that your message happens. And so what I want to do is I want to show you quickly some follow-ups that are already available, and we're going to actually, for the remainder of the time, build out a follow-up from scratch and let you see kind of what the components are. I don't think I could do this enough, because sometimes this can be a little bit complex for people to understand all the different factors that go into an automation. So we're going to go over all of those today. All right, I'm going to actually share with you our demo. And so if you are a TravelPro Suite user and you are either on our basic or our premier level, you have access to automations. And so the automations is where you can define the workflow. And so out of the box, when you get your account, you have access to the done for you workflows that I've designed for travel advisors. So these are split into the different major areas of your travel business. The request area, if you do group trips, that's under the presentation, payments, and client booking. What I'm going to do is actually kind of show you in the client booking workflow what we do. And one of the most common workflows that travel advisors have is the communication post the confirmation. So once someone has confirmed their booking, or you've confirmed their booking, you've gotten the supplier confirmation numbers, and you sent out that email, we already have out of the box, so to speak, confirmation emails that go out at different intervals. So we do a confirmation at the time that you update the confirmation field. Then we also do a 90-day check-in, a 30-day check-in, 7 days, 1 day, and the day of and the day after. And so those are already done for you. And I'm just going to open up whichever one I can see first. I think let's go and open up the 90-day. You do not have to do anything with these done for you automations. They're already designed for you. But some of the things I'm going to walk you through sort of the logic behind it, because these are things that if you understand how they're built, there may be specific custom use cases that you have that you may want to build your own automation with. So the first thing is that our trigger here is built on the 90 days of the trip date. So when 90 days before the trip date, we fire off this automation. And then based on different actions, we are then going to update a contact tag. We're going to send out an email. We're going to, and in that email, we're asking for information from the client. We're going to wait to see if the client actually did what we said, right? Because we have calls to action in our email. And so we will wait a week. If they haven't responded, we're going to send them another reminder. And this is the kind of thing that you may want to have in your automations as well. Remember, people are very busy. They get sidetracked. Maybe they open it and they don't start or whatever, and they don't get back to you. So what you want to build, particularly when you are doing follow-up, is a repetitiveness to the reminder. You don't want to just send one reminder, just like we don't just send one promotion. We send multiple promotions. We send multiple reminders. Typically, I design our workflows to be a 3 reminder series, and then I'm going to reach out to the travel advisor and say, hey, you need to do something. Maybe you need to reach out to the client. And that may be something that you want to think about as well when you're designing your own workflows, is how many reminders do you want to send out to the person? And there really isn't any rule of thumb. I pick 3 because I'm thinking, okay, if I give you the initial email and then I wait a week and then I wait 3 days and you still haven't done the action, you're either not interested or I need to do something differently, right? Because doing the same thing over and over again doesn't necessarily get you a good result. So that's why we do 3. And then on the 4th one, we're sending out something that's escalated, which is we'll probably pick up the phone and call the person, or maybe we send a text. Whatever you decide, just decide out that flow. And so in our 90-day workflow, what we do is we wait 7 days, then we send out the reminder number 2. We're checking again. If they haven't done the action, then we're waiting another 7 days and then sending out another email. This is 90 days, and what we're looking for in the 90-day check is an actual passport information, that we have the passport information on file. Excuse me. If we don't have it on file, we're sending out the reminders, because again, we want to be able to cover our clients by having that information on file. So in the event that they're out of the country, we have it. We can give that information to them. Who has their passport information memorized, right? And so what we're doing again is we're sending out the reminders. What I do also is, like I mentioned, on the 3rd try, if that information hasn't been provided, we then do an internal notification. So when we build this Scratch workflow, I'm going to show you what an internal notification is and something that you may want to implement in the workflows that you design yourself. All right, so pretty much this is the workflow. It's just a series of different emails that are sent to as reminders to let the client know that we are still waiting for their information. We do that at the 90-day mark. We do it at the 30-day mark. And then at the 7 and the 1-day mark, we're actually sending out their itinerary. And so let's go back and let's create a workflow from scratch. And then let's talk about these different factors that you need to consider when building out your workflows. All right, I'm going to show you what select a recipe means, because we have some already built-in workflows that you can start with. So it's not that you're starting from scratch. I actually like to start from scratch because even though they're handy, these recipes are handy, oftentimes you don't know what the person was thinking when they were built. So you got to check every box. So I'd rather just build it myself so that I know exactly how it's built. So, but if you ever do want to take a look at this for our industry, the things that would be important or of interest to you. Maybe I like this one that is really there's a birthday reminder. We haven't built a done for you birthday reminder as of yet, but there's this recipe for the birthday template. And so I'm going to actually use this as, I'm going to actually do a blank one, but I'm going to let you guys do this. This one is a birthday template. I may actually do a training that's specific on how to build this one out. And this one is another one that I think is really handy, which is the Facebook Messenger. And we also have an Instagram message. There's a recipe for a Facebook message and a Google My Business message. And then there's also a Instagram message, because these are all new functionality that we have in our system. I don't see the Instagram one. Oh, there it is right there. Instagram comment. And then there's a Facebook comment, and then there's a Facebook Messenger. So what I love about all of these is that if somebody comments on a business post that you have, you can set up an automation or a workflow to automatically respond to that. The other scenario is if somebody sends you a message in your messenger, you can set up automation for that. And, you know, what I'm going to do is, because we also have some AI integration that you can do, which is really slick. And that's some advanced stuff. But if you're interested in that, we'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks, where we actually create a workflow and let you see how it looks with utilizing AI. But for the time being, again, I just want to level set and make sure that everybody's starting from the same point, is that you understand the components of a workflow and what you can build out, because literally the sky is the limit. We're going to create one from scratch. Yesterday, as a reminder, we created a workflow and we created tasks. The objective of that workflow was to create tasks. The objective of this workflow is going to be just to do an email, maybe an internal email to you, and a text message to the client when they fill out a form. So let's say that. So let's say you've got an opt-in that you've created, a stranger offer, or some amazing checklist or a guide or something, and you want to build out that workflow. The first thing I always say when you're building out a workflow, start from the top and work your way down. First thing you want to do at the top is give it a name. What's the purpose of your workflow? So I'm going to say that this is a welcome series, and I usually put the product. So let's say it's to my travel guide. And the first thing that we want to do is what's going to trigger that. So like, how does somebody, a trigger is just simply, how does somebody get into the workflow? And in this situation, the trigger would be they get into the workflow by submitting a form. So we have form, we also have surveys. So if you guys are doing surveys, you can also do that. So if you want to do a form submitted, or you could do a survey submitted. So either two of those things would be really valid entry points for somebody to join a workflow. So I'm going to do form, because typically when I do a opt-in, I'm going to have them fill out a simple form that has 3 elements: name, first name, email, and phone number. And with the new SMS rule, I'm probably going to take phone number off, and it's just going to be name and email address. So here you would select form, and then on the form, you're going to select what the name of the form is. And so this form is, and here I am just going to select this opt-in funnel just for the sake of this. And then you save the trigger. Again, I like to name everything so that I can know what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to just say name equals, the form name equals travel guide. And then I'm going to save that trigger. And this is going to be the entry point. So again, the plan would be to send an email. If I'm doing a guide, it's going to be 5 emails, right? It's going to be 5, 7 emails, maybe even 30 emails, right? So the objective is to make sure that you design the workflow on paper. What is the action? Because after you define the trigger, it's the action that's next. What do you want to do? So in this scenario, what I want to do is I want to send an email. So I'm just going to type an email, and I can send an email. And here, what's going to happen is the email builder is going to show up right here on the right-hand side. I'm going to walk you through what each of these fields mean. The action name is the name. So again, this is going to be email number 1 in my series. And I like to, like I said, I like to name everything. So I can welcome travel guide, and it would be whatever the travel guide name is. From, you can leave this blank or you can set it. I typically leave it blank because we've already set up our from and to in our email settings. But if you would like to make this firm, you can put your name here. I want to also point you to what these features are right here. This little tag, when you click on this, this allows you to pull in the fields that are specific to the contact record or to the event associated with the contact. So the contact, when you click this little, this will be all the fields that you could pull in and put here. For this situation, the from is going to be your name, or we also have a custom field, which is called account. So I'm going to go back, and that's going to be account. And if you don't want to put your name all the time, you can just put the account owner's name, the owner, which would be you. You can select first name and last name if you want. Typically, like I said, typically I leave this blank because we've already got the settings to bring it in. Make sure that the email address, if you do put an email address, that the email address is the same domain that we have set up in your account. So no at Gmail, no at Yahoo, no at MSN. It should be your URL that is already set up in your account. So whatever your travel business name is, .com, .net, .org, whatever you've got, that should be where the from email should be. The subject, you want to give your email a subject. And so, I'm just going to call this test welcome email number 1. And then here, what you can do is if you've got an email that is pretty regular, that you send this email out pretty consistently, you can create yourself a template and then pull in that template instead of building out the email here. So we have upwards of, I want to say we have over 50 email templates already. I don't remember the number, but we have a lot of email templates already available based on the workflow action. So you can absolutely utilize any one of those email templates. But for something like this, and you can see the email templates are going to be here in terms of what's available. But for this, this is just a one-time example. So I don't have a template here. And then you can start to build out your email. So this whole idea of these custom fields or values that you can use even exist in your email builder. And so that value, when you click this little tag, it's going to bring in all of the information that you can use to personalize your email. So the first thing that we want to do is personalize the salutation, right? So I want to say hi, first name. So contact.first_name is going to bring in that contact's name. And then you're going to write the body of your email. Like I always say, I typically do not write and build at the same time. I usually will build it out. I will build it out on paper. Then I'll get all of my email. Me and ChatGPT will be best friends. I'll build out all the content and then I cut and paste it here because again, something could happen. I'm not an Apple user, but I've heard like you can move a mouse somewhere and your whole screen go away. So you want to make sure that you already have your content. Don't do it from scratch. Take it from me, and lessons learned there. I have lost so much work trying to build it as I go. And then for some reason, the computer freezes up, something happens. So always write out your content and copy and paste it into this messenger. I also like to use templates that way too, because it's an aggregate build. I build out all the templates and I just attach them here and then I'm done. So here, and then you can do cheers, whatever your ending is, but mine is always cheers, Sunday. And then I'm going to save that. So again, the content that you want or whatever the messages you want, you'll just click save action. And that's all you need to do. Now, what I want to do is I also want to send a message to myself so that I know that this person may be downloaded. Maybe I also want to add a note to their record to let me know if I ever go into the contact record that they already have my guide. And so let's do the note first, because I really like this. And we're actually implementing this pretty much in all of our workflows is we add a note to the contact record and you can add this note on, you can add a note after every action. So that what I like to do is I actually like to do a right now, which is a date and time type of thing. I don't really care so much about the time, but I'm going to put the date, and then I'm going to put, downloaded travel guide. So when I look at the record, when I go into the contact record, I can actually see that they downloaded this guide on this date, and I don't have to go and search and try and find it. It's going to be a note that's attached here. So here is date of download here, and then now I'm going to add an internal note, a message that comes to me. So I'm going to do, it's called an internal notification, send internal notification, and that's internal, meaning internal to your company. So you can do your staff, the person who's assigned to, all of that can already be established. So here, I'm going to do an SMS message. I want to know right away. So here I'm going to do an SMS message. And then again, you can create an SMS template. I don't have one. And so I'm just going to say, new clients, and I'm going to put their name, contact, full name, downloaded travel guide, do a happy dance. And there you go. And that's it. So this is going to send, and I don't think my demo account actually has text messaging set up. I should have done this in my live account, but here, now I've got this internal notification. I didn't name it, and I do make a note of that. Internal notification, send SMS to assigned here. Now, I want to talk to you guys about this whole concept of assigned. I'm going to save this because I always just like to save. I'm pretty notorious about saving. You may want to also make sure that as people are coming into your workflow that it's automatically getting assigned to somebody. So in this case, I'm going to assign it to myself. And you may want to assign new contacts to yourself so that when if you want to send notifications, those notifications will go out to yourself or to anyone else on your staff. So internal notification assigned to Sundey. I'm just going to put SDG here, and then my automation is done. So you have the ability to do so many more actions, right? I mean, I could probably do a training for hours on the different types of actions that you can do. But right now, this is going to send immediately when somebody downloads that guide, it's going to send them an email and also send you a text message. Now, I'm going to wait because I do a 5 email series. I'm going to wait. And let's say I want to wait 2 days. I'm going to do a time delay, and I'm going to do 2 days. And then I'm going to send another email. So I'm going to put 2D here. And what's going to happen is the person's going to come into the automation. They're going to wait 2 days, and then you can do another action. So here you can send another email. And you can call that email number 2. But what I like to, and then you'd set it up the same way. But what I like to do is if I'm building the emails here, instead of doing the whole thing over, we have what's called a copy action. So you can just click on these 3 dots, and then you can click copy, and then copy this action, copy it where you want it. So I want to copy that same email, and then I'm going to edit it. This just saves me the time from having to actually build all of the emails set up the same way. So I like to just copy actions down. So here I'm going to change this, and I'm going to call this email number 2. And then here I'm going to call this test email number 2. And obviously this would have specific content for that email. And you notice now here, I'm going to change the subject. So typically when I copy, you need to change 3 things. You need to change the action name, the subject, and then the content inside of the email. Then you click save. Always save your work as you go so you don't learn a hard lesson, but you save your work, and then after you save your work, after you're done, so you're done, Like, so you can just continue this as long as as many emails as you have. Typically we do 5, so I would continue this until all 5 emails were set up, and then I would be done. But there's this one little additional feature that I want to express to you all that you can do to get somebody to come out of the automation. So have you ever been, in some, maybe you opted in, and really the goal of this guide, right? Because when you're building an email, there should be a goal, right? There should be a call to action. What is that? Is that to book an appointment? Is that to buy your trip? What is the goal of the guide? It's not just for them to get the guide, right? There's more, there's more to that than this. So whatever the goal is, what you can do is establish that goal in your email series, and then based on when the goal is achieved, then the person will stop receiving your emails. I absolutely recommend that you do this, because it doesn't make sense if they've already booked the appointment that they keep getting email 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? You want to end them and move them out of the series and end it. So the way to do that is to establish a goal for your email series. And so this goal, we're going to call that a goal event. And then there's different factors that you can consider when building out your goal. But the factors that we do are tags. Is you can do received an email event. That means like if they opened or clicked on it. And these are good when you're doing reactivation emails. However, the one that I would think for an email series like this would be a contact. And so here, I'm going to, I know we have this download test guide as it, so one, not download, sorry. Let's say purchased or booked an appointment. Let's say we want when the person has booked a discovery call. So we have a tag called discovery call, if I know how to spell, booked a discovery call. So once that tag has occurred and somebody has booked a discovery call, a new tag is going to enter on that record, and then they're going to stop getting these emails, because ultimately the email content is going to say, book a call, book a call. I want you to book a call. So once they book the call, I don't need them to get the rest of my emails. So that's what this goal will do. And so we're going to call this goal equals booked discovery call. And then we're going to save this. And this action here is end the workflow. This means once this event happens, the person will come to the bottom of the workflow and it will end for them, and they won't continue getting. So no matter where they are in the workflow, if they book a discovery call, after email 1, they won't get email 2, 3, 4, and 5. They'll just get that first email, and then they'll immediately be moved to the bottom of the workflow. So I always want you to be thinking about, when you're building out your workflows, what is the purpose? Because we have a purpose for everything that we do. What is the purpose of your particular workflow, your automation? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And so based on that, based on what you're trying to accomplish, make sure that you set a goal accordingly. All right, do not forget to hit publish and then save, and then you want to test. And so the thing that you can do to test is you can simply just add yourself, or you could fill out your form or do the event in test mode for whatever it is that you're doing, so that you can test out your workflow. Listen, I hope that this is helpful. Automation can really be your best friend. It could really help you double the interaction that you have with your clients. It could improve your responses. It can improve your purchases. Automations really can be your best friend. And so knowing how to set them up is the key. And if you have any questions, you can join us inside of our office hours that are happening right now. You can join us inside at sundaygardner.com and join us in the Zoom room. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will see you on the next training. Talk to you soon.